Welcome to the broadcast. I'm Victoria Rubadiri. Now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has established that majority of primary schools head teachers are misappropriating the free primary education funds. A report presented to the Education Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i sampled 42 primary schools across the country, and it was found that some head teachers fund foreign trips as well as loan themselves monies amounting to hundreds of thousands of shillings from the free primary education kitty.
The free primary education program has been in place for nearly 14 years now, since 2003. And on the FPE alone, we have disbursed about 100 billion shillings. If you add the resources that we have disbursed through the free day secondary education, we have spent nearly 300 billion shillings in the last 14 years as disbursement to schools. I have experienced some of the issues that are reflected in this report. I have been moving around schools in the country since I came to the ministry, and I have experienced these things firsthand. Many schools you go to have not displayed the records of the expenditure. I went to a school where the head teacher showed me a manhole and told me that is what he had used our 4.7 million to do, one manhole. I went to a school in Nakuru County, where a head teacher told me that they had used 12 million shillings to paint a wall. 12 million, because I said, where is our money? He said, I have done some work. Which work? Show me. Repainting walls, 12 million shillings. And you can tell clearly that our money has been lost.
And new drivers could undergo a new system of training from December if all goes according to plan. Well, the National Transport and Safety Authority has launched a new curriculum for training and testing of drivers, which it says will bring order on the roads and reduce fatalities and injuries caused by road accidents. The Ministry of Transport says the new curriculum will ensure there is training for a segment of drivers who have not undergone any training, such as truck drivers. The curriculum will also ensure that all driving schools teach harmonized lessons across the country.
These accidents are avoidable if only people could apply what they learned. And now, because we've got a formal curriculum, we want now to focus on implementation. We do not want to have gathered here just to make speeches. So we would like to make sure going forward, I think NTSA can give us the numbers of the impact of today's session. Every week, as a CS of transport, I get statistics of fatalities. And it's the most distressing document I get every week. And I wish I didn't get it. But I have to get it because it monitors fatalities on a weekly basis. It is distressing. When the global community is targeting to reduce fatalities within the decade by 50%, ours are going up. And so we must make sure this is enforced.
Now, the tetanus vaccination campaign in Transmara West sub-county of Narok County has experienced serious challenges with the coverage of 44% against the national target of 85%. While health officials have now extended the campaign for 2 more days with hopes of reaching more women and achieving their target.
The campaign, which started on May 16th, was supposed to end on May 24th, but it has been extended till May 26th. Speaking at Transmara District Hospital, Narok County vaccination champion Violet Sikawa said they were concerned about the low coverage and are doing everything possible to increase the figures.
We are just encouraging women to come out in large numbers so that we meet the target. We were here in Narok. We were the ones who launched the measles rubella campaign, and I think it will not be very nice if we are the same ones who will be tagging behind when it comes to the overall vaccination of our women and our children.
According to Sikawa, most women refuse to avail themselves for the jab, citing that the vaccine allegedly reduces fertility. She said the measles and rubella campaign is at 83% against the national target of 95%. She also encouraged parents to avail their children for the vaccine, saying it is aimed at increasing immunity against communicable diseases for their children. The measles and rubella vaccine targets children between 9 months and 14 years, while tetanus targets women of reproductive age between 15 years and 49 years. Halima Gongo, NTV.
And a section of legislators allied to the Jubilee coalition has said that the ruling coalition is ready and willing to engage and listen to the grievances of the opposition regarding the reforms at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Rienje's Member of Parliament Cecily Mbarire says opposition leaders must stop threatening the president and his deputy over the disbandment of the commission and instead come to the negotiating table. Well, meanwhile, Kilifi County Governor Amason Kingi wants President Uhuru Kenyatta to disband IEBC, something the president has said he has no power to do. In Kajiado County, Kenya National Union of Teachers and the Teacher Service Commission officials are divided over a TSC directive on teachers' performance appraisal contracts that have been opposed by NUT. Well, NUT officials claim they were not consulted and urge teachers not to adhere to any directive from their employer.
In a prize-giving ceremony at Maparasha Primary School in Kajiado Central Sub-County, the divisions between the NUT and TSC officials played out. The union is opposed to teachers' performance appraisal contracts proposed by TSC. Union officials are asking their members not to consider signing the contract with their employer. NUT Secretary Kajiado Branch Eli Korinko terms the directive as a labor conflict, and he says that TSC should not threaten teachers to follow its orders.
We were not consulted. Secondly, the process has been stopped by the Conciliation Committee.
In a rejoinder, TSC Director Kajiado County, Anna Hulama, says TSC is not trying to twist the teachers, but rather encourage them to give their best potential.
Sisi hatuatishi atimjaze performance contract. That is the way to go. It's very simple. I want to tell the teachers, tunakuja tu tunauliza, je, budget umetumiaje your money ambazo hizo pesa wazazi wametoa.
Kajiado Central Governor David Nkedianye, who was also in attendance, has urged teachers to be devoted in their profession so as to boost the level of education in the country.
Mambo ya walimu wafanye bidii, wasomeshe watoto. Hiyo ndio engine ya hii nchi yote. Watoto wasipopita hakuna kazi tunafanya. Kwa hivyo tujikaze kabisa.
And Lamu County will get the first mobile boat clinic to serve residents. The First Lady Margaret Kenyatta said this in Lamu when she donated the 40th mobile clinic at Mokoe grounds. Well, the First Lady said she will partner with various stakeholders to ensure that the county is well equipped to enable prompt response to health emergencies within the island. Lamu Governor Isan Timami said that the county will complement the First Lady's effort and fully support the Beyond Zero program. Health Permanent Secretary Dr. Nicholas Muraguri said health projects initiated by President Uhuru Kenyatta when he toured the county early this year will be implemented and funds have been released towards the same.
Imeandikwa Beyond Zero Lamu. Hii inadhihirisha kwamba asante sana. Rasmi kuzindua gari lile na anaukata makofi kwake. Makofi kwa mheshimiwa mama taifa mchana wa leo. Wakati wote kuanzia sasa.
And the court coalition has temporarily suspended Monday's anti-IEBC demonstrations to give dialogue and peace a chance. Court's Johnson Muthama said they will dedicate next week to consoling victims of police brutality. Now, court says it has accepted calls by the international community to give peace a chance and therefore has a team of negotiators in place. However, court says suspension of demos will expire on the 5th of June if there is no word from Jubilee on dialogue. We're now joined on the phone by Brenda Wanga from Capitol Hill, where the presser is ongoing. Brenda, what can you tell us so far?
Well, Victoria, we are indeed at Hill. The coalition has just concluded a press conference called earlier today. What they're saying is that next Monday, the 30th of May, would have been a day when they would have held the fifth of the anti-IEBC protest. But for now, they say they are suspending that until the 5th of June, and they're doing to give dialogue and peace a chance. They say after the full protests that they have held, they have listened to the calls of stakeholders both from within and outside the country, and for that reason, they are willing to suspend the forthcoming demonstration and get to a round table with their counterparts from the GPA to try and see if they can find an amicable solution and try and see if they can effect what they have been trying to do to get change at the IEBC through a negotiation between teams from CORD and Jubilee. Victoria.
And Brenda, see here it says that they will not accept efforts by the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee as part of the solution. What do they mean by that?
What we have been able to do so far is that Justice, Legal Affairs and Justice Committee is in the process of trying to put something together to try and get the country out of the current impasse that it finds itself in with this calls for the removal of the IEBC commissioners. But the court coalition says it will not accept that effort from Parliament, saying that what they want is structured talks from the highest level of government, which would include the President, the Deputy President, and the senior officials in government. They say they do not trust Parliament to take a lead in this dialogue. They want the talks and commitment to the talks to come from the highest level of government. They say they are committed to these talks. Their principals are ready in the next 2 or 3 days to release a list of the people who will be sitting on that negotiating table on behalf of the court coalition. And they want no less than the president himself to respond to this, what they would say is a peace offering from the court coalition. Victoria.
Okay, Brenda, it may seem like a dead-end solution considering that the president said that he himself cannot disband the IEBC, and that is something for Parliament to go through. So if that falls through in terms of a plan, what are they willing to do?
It seems, Victoria, that they are dead set on having these talks one way or another, but they say they will not at any time go through Parliament. So we will wait and see what the government's response will be to this latest move by the court coalition in this now long-running back and forth over the status and the tenure of the current IEBC office. Victoria.
All right, thank you, Brenda Wanga there speaking to us from Capitol Hill, where court is holding a presser saying they are suspending the anti-IEBC demos that have been going on every single Monday, and they are willing to speak with government and hopefully come to an amicable solution to this impasse. Sports Education Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i says that he did not ban prayers from schools. According to him, prayers for the candidates should be held during second term and not third term. Matiang'i was reacting to criticism by education stakeholders who accused him of failing to consult widely before coming up with such reforms. Here now is this week's Learning Curve with Sharon Baranga.
With less than 5 months to the start of the primary and secondary schools' national examinations, the Ministry of Education is busy trying to tie up all the loose ends that could enable exam cheating. But the reforms proposed by the Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i has been met by opposition from education stakeholders who insist that they should have been consulted. But Matiang'i thinks otherwise.
I was with Mr. Witi, the chair of the Heads Association, Mr. Ndolo, the chair of the Kenya Primary School Heads Association, Muso Nsili, the chair of NAT, Akelo Misori, the Secretary General of COPET. when we made the statement.
And that directive to alter the school calendar has attracted a backlash from education stakeholders, parents, religious leaders and politicians alike. But there was a differing opinion from Kenya National Union of Teachers.
Go slow, usikimbie sana. Education is a delicate sector that involves 12 million children and the entire population of this country.
And on behalf of all teachers in Kenya, want to associate myself and ourselves with the statement given by the Cabinet Secretary, and it is not his statement, it is our statement.
The school calendar has changed. Second term will have 15 weeks, which will begin on the 2nd of May, and it will run through to 12th August, while third term will start from 29th August to 29th of October. But the issue on prayers appears to have angered many.
It's like they are trying to say that as we come to pray, we are also one of the people that come with exam leakages, and we are not part of the NEC team.
What we have done is that we have moved the prayer rallies from third term to second term. Third term, we leave the teachers and the principals to focus on exams. Then you can invite the local vicar, the priest, the local pastor to come on Sunday 6th, pray for the candidates. On 8th, you start the exams.
A number of parents felt that the reforms, which also banned visiting days during third term, were ill-informed. But the Cabinet Secretary had a reason why the Ministry of Education did not deem it necessary to have such visits.
Usually, our children come to school for 8 weeks, we give them a break. So in this case, when we have revised the terms, do we wait for the 8th week, we send them away for a weekend, they come back for 1 week, then they close school? Surely, are we serious, honestly?
According to the Cabinet Secretary, the ministry's aim is to reduce cases of cheating in national examinations. The reforms are in reference to the escalated cases of cheating that were reported last year during the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education and Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, which led to the disbandment of the then Kenya National Examination Council. Sharon Baranga, NTV, for the Learning Curve.
And that's the very latest from the NTV newsroom at this hour. Thanks for watching. I'm Victoria Rubadiri. Join me again at 4 p.m. with the very latest. Until then, enjoy the rest of your viewing.